Hi, I'm Norman Dirks Palmer. I created this house, Midori upon the Nange, and I would like to tell you a little bit about myself as to how all this design came to be. And there's a lot of stories, and we like to call it the many-storied house. It's also 4 stories, so all of that plays into it. I want you to know that we live on the water, and the house is a reflection, so to speak, of my design and has inspired me along the way. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. Of course, I like to talk about myself, but I'd like to explain how my upbringing has brought me to this path and how it affected me creating this house. My parents raised me, they were Depression-era parents, and of course, I understood and learned about frugality, and it became an integral part of my being. And I remember in 3rd grade, my sister told her English teacher that I'd be a great candidate for Jackie, the little kid in Cheaper by the Dozen, and I was in 3rd grade at the time. And so in that play, Cheaper by the Dozen, Frank Gilbreth was the creator of efficiency in the assembly line era. And from that, it just ingrained in me how to be efficient in life and how to conserve in life. So that affected me greatly. And I just want you to know that everything about this house comes from that part of my personality. So I said how the water inspired me, living on the water, and I like to call it the texture of the water. If you look at the waves, it's got a lot of texture, ever changing. You've got, in the morning sun shining at a low angle, it's like diamonds. It's phenomenal. And then in flat water where there's no wind, it's like reflecting of the sky and the clouds. It's a mirror image. And then what I love the best is when it turns into a sheet of glass, ice, in the wintertime. And I, of course, ice skate on that, and I might share a video or 2 of that. But what you want to note also is that this is the eastern sky, and we see all the sunrises, and we see all the moon rises when it's not cloudy, and it's phenomenal. That has also inspired my design. So come this way, I'll show you some inspiration from the waves. These are the waves. And that is the sunrise on the creek. The waves were created from castaway pieces of cypress. It's my frugality. I saved all the pieces of the cutoffs from 16-foot long cypress boards. And they became some useful material which manifested into this. Well, here's another element that became a great big part of this enterprise, of building, constructing this creative house. Copper. And I've had a lot of this copper end up in my life from houses that were being torn down, etc. And this is waves. This is an inspiration from the waves once again. Yet more waves. These little thin pieces, throwaways. And it was kind of magical, Zen-like, you know. I just kind of looked at this space and thought, wow, this will work. And I just basically staple, close my eyes, staple, 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 bend, bend. And it magically appeared into an abstract form, which is far out, man. I know we've been talking about waves, but now I want to talk about bark. And I don't mean who let the dogs out kind of bark. So speaking of trees, we'll come back to that work of art, but now I want to show you some bark related to the waves. This is what I call bark. It reminds me of the bark of the trees. Same principle. Staple, staple, staple. This is from a Mallows Bay sunken ship. It's a bronze porthole. And this is my very first attempt at stained glass, which is a candle. And then, which is kind of cute. It actually opens up, which I won't open it. And then up above is what I call this sacred place downstairs, Elfenwald. So just a couple words about this tree. When you look through the glass, you see trees. So I figured I needed a nice wide door I would make myself. And this tree is actually a structural component of the door. It kind of holds it up, keeps it from sagging, and it's strong. All white oak and textured like the bark. Very fun project.
Hey, tell me about that door knocker there.
Door knocker. Well, this is from Mexico. They have a lot of these down there, all different sizes and shapes. So I hope you enjoyed these details about talking about the waves and the sun and the moon and the bark. And there's a lot more inspired details to come. And I hope you will wait and see and follow along as I explain more and more.